back in 2004, we were covering the Republican convention for the radio show. And we had Grover Norquist on our show. Grover Norquist is a guy you probably don't know, but he's a real power player within the Republican Party. His group is for lower taxes. And what he does is he runs a Wednesday meeting. Every Wednesday they meet for breakfast in Washington, D.C. All of the power players within the Republican Party come to Grover Norquist's office and they decide policy. They're the people that are, when people talk about conspiracies and stuff, it's out in the open, it's not a conspiracy. Everybody in the press knows it, the public might not know it as much, but they're the guys that they're talking to. They're the ones that control us. So Grover Norquist, I said, why did you support Bush over McCain in 2000? Because his group and everybody in that meeting went to Bush, and that's why Bush won. Because the NRA, the taxpayer guys, the foreign policy guys, they all went to Bush, the whole establishment, and that's why Bush won and McCain lost. The money went to him instead. I said, so why did you do that? That's a critical decision. Why did you do that? He said, well, McCain came in here and said, I'm a maverick. And I'm independent-minded, and I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. Okay, whatever I think is right. They didn't like that. Okay? Bush came in and said, what do you need? He said, I'm empty. Okay, I'm not empty. So, I got nothing. So you tell me what to do, and I'll do it. All I care about is winning. Right? They said, that's our guy. Okay. And he's amazing. Norquist is an amazing guy. He just says it. He says it in an interview. Okay? He's the guy who said out in the open, we want to shrink government to the size. There's a copy of George W. Bush. She's George W. Bush with lipstick. Okay, so here's interesting stories that didn't get a lot of press coverage, right? The neoconservatives, those are the guys that wanted to invade all the Muslim countries. The Bill Kristol, Wolfowitz, etc. They had made a list of 5 countries they were going to invade: Iraq, Iran, Syria, Libya, and I think Lebanon. Okay.
Not Turkey.
No, not Turkey. they think that we're on their side. Okay, don't get me started on that. Okay. Anyway, it's funny. General Clark tells a story. General Wesley Clark, was the Supreme Allied Commander during the Kosovo War, ran for president in 2004. His son co-hosts our show every once in a while, and I've interviewed General Clark on a number of occasions. And General Clark told us a story. After 2001, he goes to the Pentagon and he says, okay, I know I'm retired, but I want to come and help. I mean, let's go get it, right? And they say, okay, great. General Clark, here's our plan. We're going to invade these 5 Muslim countries. And he said, what? Why? And they said, oh, these neocons have got an idea that it makes sense and then America will dominate the world and we'll have all the oil and stuff. And he said, you're absolutely nuts. You're out of your minds. I'm not going to do that. That's a terrible idea. Do you know how much money it would cost? Do you know how much troops it would cost? Do you know how unethical and immoral it is? Do you know what kind of damage it would do to the American reputation? They're like, no, we're doing it. He said, all right, well, you're doing it without me. Okay, and he left. And that's why he became a Democrat. Now, why do I mention that? Because these same neocons, they were on a cruise, and the cruise stopped in Alaska. I'm not kidding. It's a real story. And they figure, all right, we're here. The governor's Republican. Let's meet her. Okay? They meet her, and she's an airhead who just desperately wants to win. You know why she's considered a reformer in Alaska? Because she cut the knees out from every Republican above her. That's how she rose up. And then she said, look, I fight the Republicans. That's because she wanted to jump up ahead of them, right? So they go to her and they say, hey, will you do this, this, and this for us? If we tell you to? She's like, sure, yeah, what do you need? I'll do it. Okay? He said, boom, we got our girl. Okay? So then Bill Kristol, who's on Fox News Channel and now writes for the New York Times, became a huge advocate of Sarah Palin. And then the Christian right, very similar meeting, but not on a cruise, saw that she's fundamentalist Christian in Alaska, so they went and had a meeting, all the top people, including Billy Graham's son, etc. And they said, are you on board? She said, yeah, I'm empty. What do you need? Okay? And she said, I'll do whatever you want. They said, that's our girl. So when McCain went to pick a vice president, he wanted to leave her, which would have also been terrible for other reasons, right? But at least he's smart and he knows foreign policy. And his handler said, no, you cannot pick Lieberman. You have to pick Sarah Palin. And they picked her for a reason. They just didn't think that it would blow up on them, that she would get as exposed as she has. I guess they didn't think she was quite, and look at it from their perspective. They ran a guy almost as dumb, if not dumber than her, and he won twice. So in their mind, being dumb doesn't hurt, right? So they're like, she'll do everything that we want, and it doesn't really hurt her in politics to be dumb, and she's prettier than Bush. So that's why they picked her. No, they ran it. Look, you know what went wrong in the plan? 8 years of Bush, where people, they got the memo, you know? The American people, there's two friends of mine who have friends who are canvassing in Pennsylvania. That means they're going and trying to get people to vote for Obama, right? Two separate stories, but it's the same thing. They run into racists who say the N-word this and the N-word that, and I don't like black people. And at the end they say, who are you voting for? And they say, oh, I'm voting for Obama. So well, I thought you said, yeah, but it's gotten real bad. Okay, so it's gotten so bad. American people get it, man. The Republicans aren't on their side. They're not on their side. They're in the side of ExxonMobil. I did that on Thursday's show. ExxonMobil, you know, everybody's suffering, right? The country's in bad shape. ExxonMobil just broke the record for the highest profit margin in a quarter by any company in the history of the world. Okay? So, you know when Bush put the mission accomplished sign behind him? He wasn't kidding. As he's leaving, everybody thinks he's a failure, but he's not. The people who put him there got everything they wanted. They got lower taxes, they got the guns, they got the invasions they wanted, and they got the profits that they wanted. Mission accomplished. That's why they're back in Sarah Palin. That's why they got John McCain to switch all of his positions. And John McCain realized that's how you win with the Republican Party. So some people got paid, but you can fool some of the people some of the time, as they say, you know. But you can't fool all the people all the time. And that's what they run into. If Bush had lost in 2004, Obama probably would have never risen. And it wouldn't be as clear, and Fox News would have blamed everything on Kerry. It was, oh, Iraq would have gone great if it wasn't for damn John Kerry, you know. But 8 straight years of nothing but Republican rule, and no matter how much Fox News spins it, people go, yeah, who am I going to believe, you or my lying eyes? You know, it's right there in front of me. So.
For those who don't have Excel, can you repeat that, the name of that website that we can log on?
Oh, absolutely. It's theyoungturks.com. Theyoungturks.com. I like that. You can all. Yeah, at YouTube, if you just type in The Young Turks, you'll see us, because we're one of the partners of YouTube.
So it's YouTube/Young Turks?
YouTube/ The Young Turks. Okay. Or if you just type in the search, Young Turks, we'll come up.
I wanted to go back to the first question, and as a Turkish American, I want to be involved in politics, and I was wondering if it would be easier once the Armenian genocide resolution would be passed, as a Turkish American to be part of politics in the United States.
Well, it depends. We had a guy named Joe Yusuf who ran where I'm from in New Jersey, and he lost, but it had nothing to do with the Armenian issue. Never came up really, okay? So if you're in New Jersey where there are more Turks, it might never come up. Yeah. Or it comes up and it's not important to the voters of that county or that district, right? If you're running California, it'll definitely come up. And you'll have a lot of trouble. You will. If it's resolved, yes, you'll have less trouble. There's no question about it. So whichever way it gets resolved. So that's one of the reasons that I want to get beyond it. Because it's just, you're right. I mean, if you think about it that way, if you're Turkish and you want to run for office in California and that issue is not resolved, good luck. You know, because look, we were going to moderate, my co-host and I were going to moderate a debate for governor of California, okay, in the Democratic side, in the Democratic Party. And they pulled us out because the Armenian American groups protested, is the name of our show, okay? And what are the politicians going to do? They're politicians. So they had to run. And I said, that's okay, I get it. You know, I don't want to do them any damage, right? But it's a real issue that's going to, if you're Turkish in California, going to follow you until we figure out a way to get beyond it.